All right, good morning and welcome to Real Life with Andrea. Today I am outside. As you can see, it's a little bit bright, but I love it. Hopefully the video is going to turn out okay, and I can enjoy the weather while we're at it. So I just love being outside. I love the summertime. I love it when it's bright and sunny. So I try my best to get outside as much as I possibly can. There's just way too much stuff to be done inside, so we're gonna see what we can do about having this outside. If you have not subscribed to our channel and you are liking the content that I am creating, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so that you will know when things are uploaded, and you can also comment to see anything that you might be interested in hearing me talk about that pertains to my life or the life of the average person who is just going through life, trying to walk through life as a believer in Jesus Christ, trying to live their life for His glory in everyday stuff. So let's get started today on homeschooling. So homeschooling is a subject that is near and dear to my heart, and I find that sometimes it can be tough to have conversations with people who are not sure how homeschooling goes or even anti-homeschooling. So when COVID hit and the world shut down, of course, a lot of people were forced to keep their kids at home and to homeschool, and many of them loved it and many of them hated it, and many of them saw some inconsistencies and are now doing a hybrid of school and homeschooling in order to fill some of the gaps that they found that there were even in public school. So a lot of things have changed since 2020, including the attitude towards homeschooling. However, even though we are finding homeschooling to be a more acceptable and people are really becoming to understand it a lot more, there still are people out there that are anti-homeschoolers, and so we run into a lot of questions, and sometimes people are asking those questions because they really want to answer those questions for themselves, and there are tough questions, and people are asking them because they are wanting to point out anything that they feel like is a deficiency in being a homeschooling parent. So today today I'm going to list the 8 big questions that most people have, or comments, negativities people have surrounding the subject of homeschooling. And these are all things that if you are a homeschooler, if you're new to homeschooling, if you're thinking about homeschooling, these are questions that you need to be able to answer for yourself. You need to be able to answer them succinctly. You need to be able to answer them with conviction, with accuracy, and with the passion that you should have for homeschooling your children. So here you go. Here are the 8 big questions. 1, how can you be sure your kids are receiving the same quality of education as public school can provide? 2, how are you socializing your children? Don't you feel like homeschool will isolate them and make them socially awkward, unable to work as a team, and have a lack of exposure to diversity? Number 3, are there some legal requirements about homeschooling your children? Number 4, do you really have time for homeschooling? Number 5, what makes you think that you are equipped to school your children? You are not an expert in these subjects. Number 6, what if your child has special needs? How will you assess that and get them the help that they need? Number 7, how will you know when they are doing well or not if you do not do standardized testing? And number 8, how are they going to go to college without a formal education? So those are the 8 big questions that all homeschooling parents should be able to answer at the drop of the hat when people ask them. But you shouldn't just be able to answer those for other people. These are some of the core things that we do need to think about as homeschooling parents. And we'll go through each one of the 8 of these in individual videos. So they're great questions. They need to be able to be answered. Homeschooling is a serious business. It should be taken seriously. It should not be taken lightly. If you're considering homeschooling, or you're just starting out on your journey to figure out whether that you've just decided to homeschool and you're just trying to figure out where you're going to go from here, think about those questions and be able to answer them. So I homeschool. I love homeschooling. I love homeschooling because I am in charge of my children's education. Not only am I in charge of English, math, science, art, right? I am in charge of developing them as people, as individuals, and wrapping their education into their whole life, because life is education. Everything we do, we are learning something. And so one of my goals as a homeschooling parent is to bring Jesus, to bring Christ, to bring faith, to bring our beliefs into our lives as a whole, and not compartmentalize them for Sunday and say, okay, well, you have to leave Jesus out of school, so Jesus isn't in science, and Jesus isn't in English, and Jesus isn't in math, right? So I want to make sure that our faith and our beliefs and what we stand for, that make us the people that we are, is wrapped into their entire educational package. I'm teaching them life skills. I am teaching them not only how to do classwork, I am teaching them how to be a productive individual in the world. I am teaching them how to resolve conflict. And people, if you don't think that your family is the best place to learn how to resolve conflict, there is no place greater for conflict than at home with your family. I'm teaching them time management, financial responsibilities, balancing home and work, and for them, school is work. I'm teaching them honesty, integrity, and a good work ethic. I want to instill in them kindness, compassion, and the ability and drive to help others, and so on. And because I am with them, and because I am in charge of their education, I am there to see when they need help because they've stumbled, when they're struggling and they need an extra push, when they're succeeding and I can give them encouragement. I see each and every step of the process and am able to give them what they need on a regular basis. I am steering them towards success, not just in math and science, but in life. And in addition to that, one thing I love about homeschooling is that it challenges me every single day to live as a person who my children can model themselves after. So not only am I teaching these things to my children, but I have to live them myself so that they see that this is something that they can and that they should do, that it's not just words coming out of my mouth. So for me, homeschooling is the whole picture. It's everything from the time that they're born until I'm no longer with them, but especially during those formative years, during those school years, to teach them how it all wraps together in life and how to balance it all and how it's all important. So if you are still on the fence about homeschooling and you have questions, please comment below. Put those questions down there. I'll be glad to answer them. I'd be glad to connect you to somebody else who can answer those questions for you. And if you haven't watched my other videos and you don't know, we do use a program called Classical Conversations, which I just started last year with my youngest, and I wish that I had done it with my oldest, because it's a phenomenal program to help keep you focused and to teach your children some basic skills in learning and how things build on a foundation. But I can get you connected with that as well. And again, if you have any questions, post them below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and we will see you soon.